Welcome back, Viator, to Final Fantasy I. In part 1 of our journey, we explored every piece of land which can be reached by foot. Now it's finally time to set sail and leave this land behind us. For you, there's probably nothing special about it. But for me, the way the ship hops over the waves is just adorable. But, as to be expected, this won't be a peaceful travel. Monsters like these constantly interrupt us for a fight. Nevertheless, fights are not as frequent on the ocean as they are on land, ensuring a faster way of travel. Hopping along the shore, we will soon figure out that we are enclosed by a giant landmass with no way of escape. Well, at least this means we cannot get lost too easily, right? Making this discovery, we also come across 2 additional ports on which we can park our ship. Unlike previous games, we can only land if we put our ship on a leash at these ports. So let's start exploring clockwise, which would mark this one in the south our starting point. Close by the port and surrounded by this thick forest hides this castle. And all the guys who live here are probably elves. Exploring the fortification, we soon get into its center and enter the room of their prince. The elf prince, who is asleep for 5 whole years by now. His subordinate, the one guarding his sleep, pleads our four to help against Astor's curse. A medicine from the witch Matoya might be the cure to this. But, well, guess we won't get any help from her unless we recover her missing eye. The town attached to the castle is embedded in nature and filled with shops to buy new spells from. Up to level 4 for both types of casters. The prices for them have exploded though, and we need to save up if we want to equip our heroes with them. The elves living here tell us that Astos, the one who put their prince to sleep, is the king of the dark elves, and if their prince doesn't wake up, no heir will be born, and their kind will be ruled by the dark elves. No one seems to know though where this Astos of the Dark Elves is hiding. The next site we should try to find is a lone castle that was discovered by one of the elves in town by accident and which gave him the creeps. As I often am, if someone tells me to go west, I'll go east, just to make sure we don't miss a thing. But this time, there's nothing here. Okay then, let's follow the advice and go west. First we will follow the coastline into the mountains, which are overgrown with a deep forest, and naturally plenty of monsters who prey on us. Exploring this area rewards our team with a level or 2, before we find the lone castle described to us. What do you think we will find in there? Shall we go and find out? At first glance, the castle really appears all emptied out, except for all the beds that made it their home. The first room I wanted to open is already locked. Damn. But what about the one in the center? It's not. It's a throne room, and there's someone here, the presumable king of this domain. He also suffers from Astor scheming. His castle got ruined by him, and unless our four recover the stolen crown from the marshland caves in the south, he can't rebuild it. As light warriors, I guess it's our duty to take care of the matter. While exploring the forest within the mountains, I already stumbled into a dark and creepy place in the south. Seems we cannot avoid it. It's filled to the brim with zombies and ghasts. So this time around I prepared my white mage June by educating her with the Diara spell. A spell which is supposed to damage the undead, and multiple at once. In order to reach the cave, we need to cross a marshland with these new creatures. Inviting, right? They use paralyzing attacks, which are really frustrating me. Because of them, already long fights are even more tiring and more dangerous on top of it, as a paralyzed character can't do a thing. Inside this hole waits the dungeon of origins of those types of monsters, and additional slimes and skeletons. Despite my repulsion, if we want to make progress, we will need to bring this cave behind us. At least, June's Diara spell works great with the zombies and skeletons. So does Vivi's Fyra spells with the slimes. Unfortunately, both of my mages are limited with just 3 uses of these types of spells, resulting in a lot of detours back to the inn for recovery whilst exploring. The lower levels of the cave contain large areas filled with many small rooms and treasure chests. In case you are curious about the treasures, the chests contain mostly little goodies, like some money and armor pieces we already have. I did not exactly get the feeling of missing out if I did miss one of them. But back to our quest. It takes me and our heroes several hours of back and forth till we can present you with the one treasure that's relevant for our progress. And the monsters which guard it. Is it just me, or do they look a bit like Cthulhu creatures? They not just look horrible, they are also very powerful attackers. The fight ends with both my mages down, and then my strongest fighter half dead as well. But we got the crown for our efforts. Time to leave this horrific place by running away from all fights that get triggered while escaping from the cave. revived and patched up, we are able to make it back to the ruined castle. While we're on the way, how do you feel about it? I am very curious when it comes to our reward. I wonder if we will witness the transformation of the castle back to its former glory. Handing the crown over to the king, though, painfully makes me realize that we got tricked by Astos. Thanks to us, he now has the power to rule over the other elves in Alfheim. We cannot allow a devious monster like him to rule them. Uh-oh. Not sure if fighting him was a good idea. He just casted death upon Dan. Damn. I thought the spell had a chance to fail, but our fighter meets his fate. That's not a good start for our battle. Kane's attacks deal almost no damage. The aura does not affect the Dark Elf. Looks pretty bad for us. At least Vivi's spells can harm the monster. This means we have to do all we can to keep Vivi alive. First, June buffs our wizard with the Invest spell to higher his evading capabilities, while Astos debuffs his speed and upgrades his own with haste. June's try to silence him for this fails. Ignoring all the bad news, Vivi continues to spam his spells, getting hit by Astos in revenge turn after turn. Then, finally, one last fire spell and Astos is done for. Phew! The game really got me there. I did not expect a false identity. Leaving the victory screen, we find Astos' throne empty. It seems as if we got nothing for beating the evil being, but a look into our pockets will prove this initial assumption wrong. Astos was the thief who had stolen the crystal eye from Matoya, and now it's in our possession. I think we should bring it back to where it belongs. It's a long way back that I skipped for you. But it gets rewarded, not just with the gratitude of Matoya. No, she is so overjoyed that she gifts us with her finest medicine. That's wonderful. That should help us with a certain prince, shouldn't it? We sail back to Alfheim. The tonic we got from Matoya probably is best at the hands of the guard, watching the sleep of his sovereign. Our guess proves to be right. He knows how to administer it, bringing the prince back to the wake world, finally after 5 years of slumber. For him, it felt like a long nightmare, but now that it is over and our light warriors arrived as prophesied, he will stand by his oath and deliver the mystic key to us. If you saw part 1 of our adventure, you know what we would do with it. But not today. It's time to round up today's trip. I think we covered some ground in this episode. Our heroes are now equipped with a decent amount of spells and gear, Thanks to the swamp hole and the fight with Vastos, the king of the Dark Elves, they got stronger. As light warriors, we returned what was stolen from Atoya and cured the curse bestowed upon the good prince of Elfheim. Let's experiment with the treasure he gave to us next time. Also, remember, there is another port we can explore. Hope you are excited for that. I am. Let's meet again in the next part of our journey, Viator. Until then, bye.